Former Treasury Secretary Yellen said, "There's a good argument that the best place to hide and launder ill-gotten gains is actually the United States. As in many criminal enterprises, oligarchs launder dirty money through legitimate businesses and assets. Recognizing this, previous U.S. administrations and their international partners created agile task forces to target corruption and the corrupt oligarchs. But in one of her first moves after being sworn in, Attorney General Bondi pulled down DOJ's Kleptocracy Asset Recovery Initiative, which has recovered billions of dollars in ill-gotten gains from foreign kleptocrats, many Russian, many close to Putin. This a result from bipartisan work in the Senate."
Senator Sheldon Whitehouse just laid out something that should alarm every American: Attorney General Pam Bondi's decision to shut down America's most effective anti-corruption task forces, programs designed to track down and seize billions of dollars in dirty money stolen by Russian oligarchs and corrupt foreign officials.
Thank you, Chairman Wicker. As I noted on the Senate floor upon Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022, kleptocracy is on the march in Eastern Europe. Vladimir Putin's corrupt regime fabricated a pretext to invade Ukraine, a sovereign and peaceful nation. Putin's war helps divert the Russian people from his festering corruption and misrule, as Alexei Navalny bravely exposed. Putin for decades deployed corruption and kleptocracy as tools to strengthen his grip on Russia's government and to project influence throughout the region. In the process, he decimated Russia's free press, ended all political opposition, and grew his personal fortune to what is thought to be the largest in the world. I say thought to be because Putin's wealth is hidden behind shell corporations and nestled in tax havens, far from view of the people he robs and oppresses. Along the way, he's cultivated a group of oligarchs who also serve him as they, too, feed off riches that belong to the Russian people. As in many criminal enterprises, oligarchs launder dirty money through legitimate businesses and assets. Recognizing this, previous U.S. administrations and their international partners created agile task forces to target corruption and the corrupt oligarchs. But in one of her first moves after being sworn in, Attorney General Bondi pulled down DOJ's Kleptocracy Asset Recovery Initiative, which has recovered billions of dollars in ill-gotten gains from foreign kleptocrats, many Russian, many close to Putin. AG Bondi also inexplicably shut down DOJ's task force Kleptocapture, which was working to seize the assets of sanctioned Russian oligarchs who bankrolled the illegal invasion of Ukraine, and to provide those assets to the Ukrainians for rebuilding and defense. This a result from bipartisan work in the Senate. For a long time, I've warned that America is engaged in a clash of civilizations, with democracy and the free market on one side and kleptocracy and corruption on the other. We will prevail in this clash by pursuing a powerful value of a rule of law society: transparency. Kleptocrats and criminals seek the protection of America's rule of law and secure financial system to stow their illicit money. They don't want to hide what they stole in their own corrupt and crooked countries, but they need secrecy to avoid accountability. The Pandora Papers and the Panama Papers revealed webs of American shell corporations and trusts hiding dirty assets. They revealed professionals, wittingly or unwittingly, helping criminals and oligarchs hide dirty assets. Former Treasury Secretary Yellen said, "There's a good argument that the best place to hide and launder ill-gotten gains is actually the United States." My Bipartisan Corporate Transparency Act, enacted in 2020, was one beam of light into our own dark shell corporation corners. The law established a beneficial ownership register to sort out this anonymous shell company mess, helping law enforcement and national security officials identify who's behind webs of American shell companies. In March, the Treasury Department announced it would enforce the CTA's reporting rule only for foreign reporting companies, less than 1% of corporations and LLCs. The proposal was quickly panned by national security experts and law enforcement. Chairman Grassley and I joined in a bipartisan comment letter urging Treasury to rescind this misguided rule and fully implement the CTA as envisioned by Congress. It's not all doom and gloom. Treasury recently finalized proposals to shine light into the private investment advisor industry and to the residential real estate sector. The administration should also extend common sense transparency guidelines to commercial real estate purchases. Another bipartisan effort to combat kleptocrats is my Foreign Extortion Prevention Act, signed into law last Congress, co-led by several Helsinki commissioners, including co-chair Wilson, Senator Tillis, and the late Representative Jackson Lee. The law empowers the government to go after foreign officials that request or receive a bribe from a U.S. individual or corporation, or from any person while on U.S. territory. Our Bipartisan Enablers Act would crack down on the aiders and abettors of our enemies among American professionals. lawyers, accountants, and corporate formation agents by requiring basic anti-money laundering guardrails that are commonplace in rule of law countries. To prevail in this clash, we should reconstitute Task Force Kleptocapture and the Kleptocracy Asset Recovery Initiative and provide greater resources to the offices of DOJ, Treasury, and other federal agencies on the front lines against financial crime and international corruption. Finally, we need to work together with allied nations to close off hidey holes for oligarchs, bolster the rule of law, and increase access to justice in struggling jurisdictions. Kleptocrats, traffickers, and international criminals can be defeated. They don't need to be assisted. Free societies and the rule of law can win out. This is a national security matter, and the tools of transparency will secure our victory. I yield back.
Let's pause here and really unpack the significance. Russia's war against Ukraine is not just fought with tanks and missiles, it is financed through corruption. Vladimir Putin has spent decades creating a web of oligarchs, shell companies, and offshore accounts to launder stolen wealth. That money doesn't just buy yachts in Monaco or condos in Miami, it bankrolls Putin's war machine and props up authoritarian regimes across the globe. America, for years, had been at the forefront of fighting this corruption. Initiatives like the Kleptocracy Asset Recovery Initiative and Task Force Kleptocapture were specifically designed to track illicit Russian wealth, seize assets from oligarchs, and redirect those funds to strengthen democracy and support Ukraine. In fact, these efforts were bipartisan, Democrats and Republicans working together to hit Putin where it hurts most, his pocketbook. But one of Attorney General Bondi's first moves was to dismantle those very programs. Think about that. At a time when Russia was escalating its aggression, Bondi pulled the plug on the task forces designed to keep oligarchs in check. Instead of standing with allies, defending democracy, and protecting America's financial system from dirty money, she effectively rolled out the red carpet for kleptocrats to keep hiding their billions inside our borders. And Senator Whitehouse's warning couldn't be clearer. This isn't just about Russia. It's about the global clash between democracy and kleptocracy. On one side, we have rule of law, transparency, and accountability. On the other, we have secrecy, corruption, and authoritarian power. The tools of democracy are strong, but only if we use them. Transparency laws, beneficial ownership registries, anti-money laundering rules, these aren't abstract policies. They are weapons in the fight against global corruption and authoritarian influence. Here's the bigger danger. When kleptocrats launder money through American banks, American real estate, or American shell companies, it means our system is being hijacked to protect criminals and enemies of democracy. It means Putin's oligarchs aren't just hiding abroad, they're hiding in plain sight, right here under the shelter of our own financial protections. And Bondi's rollback gave them even more cover. That is why Whitehouse is demanding the programs be reinstated, fully funded, and expanded. Because corruption is not just a financial crime, it's a national security threat. Every dollar laundered is another dollar that can be used to destabilize democracies, to bankroll disinformation campaigns, or to fund the next invasion. And here's what this really comes down to. If you claim to stand for law and order, if you claim to defend America's security, then you cannot at the same time shut down the very programs that keep oligarchs, kleptocrats, and foreign criminals in check. Bondi's decision wasn't just short-sighted, it was reckless. It weakened America's defenses and strengthened Putin's hand. Whitehouse is absolutely right. Free societies can win this fight, but only if we choose transparency over secrecy, accountability over corruption, democracy over kleptocracy. So here's the takeaway. Americans need to pay attention. When leaders like Pam Bondi shut down anti-corruption programs, it's not just bureaucratic reshuffling. It's a direct hit on democracy, a gift to Putin, and a betrayal of the rule of law. If you believe America should be leading the fight against corruption, not enabling it, then support efforts to bring these task forces back. Share the truth. Call out the hypocrisy. Because in this clash of systems between democracy and kleptocracy, silence is not an option. Call your representatives, demand accountability, and make it clear America must never be a safe haven for Putin's dirty money.